Welcome, everybody. You are watching and listening, hopefully watching, because this is going to be a visual experience to Wizards and Warriors, ultimate podcast for competitive pinball. I'm your host, Frisco Pinball, aka Hadi, alongside my co-host, the one and only Jayland. What up, Joe?
Hey, what's going on?
We are kicking off a new series. So I love talking about competitive pinball, as you all have heard 400 hours of it. But we have a new series called MasterClass, where we are going to bring on active, maybe intense is a good word too, but very good competitive players that are currently playing and competing in Stern Pro Circuit events, regional tourneys, all that fun stuff. So today in the inaugural episode, we're not just playing Stern's Rush, we're dominating it. How about that? We brought in the best of the best to break down the rules, the shots, the stacks, the secrets to consistently winning matches in your home, local, or even bigger tournaments on this high-octane machine. So joining us are two of the world's most electrifying competitive players, top-ranked Wizards, Preston Currie, currently ranked 15th in the IFPA Open Rankings. What up, Preston?
How's it going?
Good. And then Gregory Kennedy, who is ranked 11th in those same rankings. What up, Greg?
How are we doing?
Good, good. So from maximizing your multi-balls to figuring out the perfect stacks, we're going to dive deep into Stern's Rush for some competitive meta. Get ready for an episode that will absolutely fly by and turn your good game into a grand champion performance. This is MasterClass Rush. So, Preston, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Preston Currie. I got into competitive pinball around November of 2021. Just kind of was trying to get better at pinball, not knowing that you could compete in pinball. And I saw a Facebook ad for a tournament and signed up, and it just snowballed from there. Met people in the scene, started playing locally, learned that you could travel, like saw Fox City stream at the 82 around that time, and just started traveling and got addicted. I'm big into like math stuff and all the stats that you can find on like the IFPA page and everything like that. Like I was addicted to just exploring that page, and, you know, seeing your rank go up obviously feels good as well. So yeah, I've been playing since then, and made my first world championship this year, which was cool. And yeah, that's it.
Congratulations. Yeah, the math is wild. That's the available math exploration in modern pins is insane. I mean, there's some math in Paragon and Harlem from the old classics, but it's not as good as the new math. So I'm so happy to learn about it, hear about it from experts like yourself. Gregory, introduce yourself.
I'm Gregory Kennedy. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. And I've always really grown up around pinball, which I think is interesting to, talking with Preston as someone who just, kind of found it, by pure chance. My dad collects pinball machines. And so we always had a good old family trip growing up to Carnegie, Pennsylvania. So we would go to the Papa with the family, and they would go do something in, my mom and my sister would go do something in Pittsburgh, and Pinburgh, my dad and I would just go. And so after COVID, when that shut down, I didn't know like anything else really existed until I got my driver's license, and I started going to everything I could. So, I mean, other than growing up playing the league and Papa, like I didn't know that next level of pinball was out there. So like kind of, that's my development through pinball, and I've, really stand with it, with I think the community's great. And, every term is unique and, more fun than the last.
That's awesome. Have you and Preston been in some epic battles before? Have you played in some playoffs together against each other, or do you have any memories together of playing one another?
I know I can say the first time I played, or I remember playing Preston or hearing about Preston, I went to a like tournament right before states in Indiana, the year I played in Indiana. And I remember everyone's talking that Preston's going on vacation. Preston's going to be on a cruise or something, and he won't be at states. So I was like, oh, this Preston guy might be pretty good. So
you would have been fine. I figure we'll get this one out of the way. We did play in Cincinnati playoffs one year. We both advanced, so that was good. But we did have a weird bank where the last two games were Algar and Stars. But the first game was Rush, funny enough. And I think I had like a 200 million point lead over Gregory going into ball 3. And he started Lavia, looks back at me, and I'm like, it's not a good sign. And he proceeded to just like combo his way through it. It passed me. He was the later player in the game. Yeah. So I know I'm for sure 0-1 against Gregory on this game. And funny enough, I own a rush, and it's Gregory's and Nick's rush.
Oh, that's funny.
It's very interconnected within our friendship.
Yeah. It's a rush-based friendship.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good segue. We are going to talk and deep dive into the competitive strategy, what you guys think about Rush, the Stern pinball machine developed by lead designer John Borg, code and rules Tim Sexton and Raymond Davidson. You got the lead engineer Harrison Drake, artwork by Michael Bernard, and then graphics from Chuck Ernst, Paul Chemin-Kit, sound designer Jerry Thompson, and it was released in February 2022. I remember when this came out, a little confusing to kind of figure out where to get started, how to approach it. Joe, do you have a lot of time on Rush?
Yeah, the location that I mainly play at bought a Rush right when it came out, and this is also kind of around the time I started playing, so I found it very I feel like a lot of players found it pretty difficult to pick up pretty quickly. So yeah, no, it's definitely one that I'm looking forward to learning more about. I love the layout, John Borg, big fan. Yeah.
So Preston and Gregory, I feel like this became, I don't know if it was a staple. I know when new Sterns get released, they're generally always included in tournaments unless, like even when Venom was released, it was included. The competition mode sort of at least tries to make things fair before the exploits are figured out. Compared to other Stern releases, if you can remember your first time on those versus Rush, what did you think of Rush when you first encountered it in tournaments? And either of you can go first. That's fine.
You got it.
Okay. I remember the first time I saw Rush was in a Pins Mechanical.
Okay.
And I played it, 2 or 3 times. I thought it sucked. Like it wasn't really something that meshed with me. And like, I remember my dad loved it. He thought it was amazing. And like, he put up a billion multiple times. And I just I don't see how that's even possible. Like the points just aren't there. And then so like, maybe 2 months down the road, I got to like the wizard mode on Rush, like the whole, 2,112 or whatever,
21.
like 21. But it was just like, it opened up the whole game for me. And like, just like playing through that so much on like old code, realizing like the way you want to do it with like the buttons and the combos. And like, I love the way it shoots. So that really just made it, like click for me, which, eventually ended up me getting one, which is one of the first new Sterns I've ever bought. So
nice. How about you, Preston? Do you have a lot of experience on it? Obviously, you wouldn't be here if you didn't. But
right,
tournament-wise, when you first encountered it, what did you think?
So it came out in February 22, right? So that was 3 months into me playing competitive pinball. So I wasn't really traveling yet, but we had one locally, and I remember like hitting a skill shot was like a big deal in terms of points. Like the winner might have like 12 million at the time because no one knew what they were doing. And it's like, okay, if you get to the one stack mode multiball, like you're going to win. And I like the shot path confused me. I remember the right ramp. It wasn't a right ramp that was natural for me at all. Like when it first came out, I was like, I have no idea where this is on the flipper. So that took a while to get used to. And I'm one of those people that like when I play, I don't learn as much as when I watch people play it. And so I saw like later on, I saw like Dalton stream it, Ray stream it, Lowe stream it, like a bunch of different people. And I'm like, oh, I see how this game opens up, and I see kind of the path. And you start to see like the danger areas of the game, right? And I started to fall in love with it, especially once I like learned the code and everything. And then once I owned one, I was just addicted to it. And so the amount of greed you can have in the game and stuff like that, it really opened up the game for me, and really started enjoying it from that point on. But it's definitely one of those like high barrier of entry games that's tough to get into unless you've been playing a while.
What do you think about the tightness of the shots, either of you, compared to other Sterns? It feels like I feel like the shot to the left of the time machine, a little dead end, isn't too bad. Obviously the time machine shot from the right, I feel like it's better from the right flipper, but that right ramp is not as easy to get to. And then from the upper flipper, obviously hitting the left ramp or the left loop. What, compared to, I guess, other Sterns, do you feel it's tighter shots or feels okay? What do you think?
I honestly think the shots feel really good. Like, but
Okay.
you have to almost like find them. Like, I think a great example is, like you said, that right ramp is like, it's not, your Star Trek right ramp. Like, it's a lot later than you think it is, and from like at least my experience. So like, I find my favorite thing about the shots is like you're actually using both flippers consistently. And like, I think especially like, the more we go into exploits is like, oh, if this is a right flipper game or this is a left flipper game, like you're really shooting all of your shots here. And like the deeper you go, like you'll definitely like find more right orbits, and like every mode is so different and I think really well coded just to like really show variety in the shots. But I think they're a little tight, but overall, I wouldn't say anything unbelievable.
Nice. Okay, so that's a good segue because now we're going to get into first the basics of Rush. You guys can explain to us, if you're stepping up to the machine for the first time, what are you trying to shoot first? And then after we get just some surface level basics out of the way, we'll get into the competitive meta and your strategies for approaching it. So why don't you guys lead me off? You're stepping up to Rush for the first time. So if you're listening to this episode, I highly recommend you watch the video. The video version will be available on YouTube at Frisco Pinball or Spotify and all your other platforms under Wizards and Warriors. So please watch the video because we are using a telestrator to mark up some of the shots. So what are you guys doing first? So feel free to tell me left orbit, center, time machine, wherever you go, and I'll mark it up.
Yeah, so I'll kind of lead off here because Greg's going to go through like a lot of the modes and stuff, and it's going to be more in depth that way. But from a basic standpoint, you have 6 major shots that have records on them. It's the left orbit, right? The inner loop, see there, the dead end, the spinner lane, which is the right by the time machine. Yep. The right ramp and the right orbit. And basically those are what you need to qualify modes. Typically you start needing 1 or 2 record shots, unique record shots, to qualify your mode at the time machine. And basically from there, there's 2 different main multiballs in the game. You have your time machine multiball. There's 3 of them, but you get the other 2 later down the line, depending what you get. But basically the time machine multiball is typically 4 hits to qualify that. So early in the game, at a very basic level, you can just go time machine for 3 hits before you qualify a mode. And that way, when you qualify a mode after that, you can shoot the time machine again. It'll start your mode and your multiball together. The other thing is the 2 stand-up targets on the right ramp. Right there. Perfect. Yep. Once you hit both of those once, it will light the ramp, for qualifying a Far Cry lock. You hit the ramp and then you lock the ball at the side scoop. Sorry, I might be going a little fast. There you go.
You're good. Right there.
And then you do that again. You do that same process again and it will start your Far Cry multiball. In this game, you want to be stacking modes in multiball at a very basic level. Obviously, there are certain modes that are better with certain multiballs. There are some modes you rather play single ball, but that's the basics of it. The other like really basic thing is when you step up to this game, you want a short plunge to your upper flipper, and that will you'll have 3 red arrows at the beginning, and your inner loop is a single skill shot, your side ramp is a double skill shot, and your side scoop is the triple skill shot, effectively. That's the really basic level. I know we're going to really like dive into some things. There's multiple other multiballs that are kind of later game items. They actually don't come up as much in competitive because you're typically playing on like any rush that's set up with tight slings and open out lanes and any sort of tilt bob. It is an extremely difficult game, honestly. So I would just say, like, from a very basic standpoint, that's what you're typically going to see in a competitive game.
So in competition mode, generally the time machine has additional hits needed for the multi-ball. Are you bashing that right away to get to at least the multi-ball? Because usually there's no ball save unless you get one of your skill shots. And then I know I've seen a lot of people say, okay, well, let me hit one record shot, start a mode, and then literally just try to get as much progress as I can towards the multi-ball at the time machine, since it's going to take a lot, and maybe a score of 30-40 million will win it for me. And either of you can answer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if your tournament director like sets it up for 8 hits, like it's so unnecessary at this game. I hate it. It's just so, and you just prioritize Far Cry instead. Honestly, go ahead, Greg.
I want to say a big part of it, like, you know, based on what I'm looking for here is, am I playing in a match play tournament? Am I in game 3 on a card? Oh, you know, is it pump and dump? I think like that's, you know, a question for pretty much all strategies that you can apply. Like, I think if I was in a match play scenario and like I look up and my time machine needs 10 hits, I mean, I'm not even thinking about it. I mean, I think Preston brought up a good point where it's like, maybe, you know, you view Far Cry as sort of your main multi-ball now, even though that one, I mean, if your time machine's set up like that, you're probably, you know, got to hit both targets 4 times for your lock. But definitely, you know, making sure you put those points on the points on the table. I mean, card, you know, if you need a big game, like I think you really do have to prioritize, you know, those multi-balls, because that's, you know, one huge way to open up, you know, points in any honestly modern stern. But so I think basically what the summary is saying that is like, it really depends on situation. But if you just need points up on the board, I would definitely avoid shooting the time machine a lot of times.
Yeah, and your Far Cry locks, even on medium level, it's just when you hit the 2 targets, it becomes a time block that you have to hit that ramp at a certain amount of time. It's a pretty long time, but the amount that you actually have to do is the same as easy locks. The only difference is, like, when you start the multi-ball, you have to start at the side scoop, whereas when you're qualified on easy settings for Far Cry, you can shoot, I guess, the main scoop or the front scoop from the flipper, and that will start it. So
sort of getting preliminarily into your strategies for competition. What modes? First, how do you change the mode that's lit at the beginning of the ball?
All right, Greg, you got this. This is all you know.
So I believe the modes, when you start your game, each one of your records will be a unique color.
Gotcha.
And they will be flashing, symbolizing that they have not been like locked in. Okay. And so it will have cyan for Tom Sawyer, orange for Working Man, blue for Spirit of the Radio, pink for Big Money, purple for La Villa, and green for Limelight. So knowing that I want to start Limelight first, I'm looking for the green shot. Okay. But on the upper orbit, that's where you want like a good shot to be. Like, you can be looking at the upper flipper to the left, to the side ramp. Yeah. So, I mean, that would be where you always want, like, you know, if you were to have good luck, per se, you would have like a green for Limelight or a blue for Spirit of the Radio on there, because that's the first shot that you can take. And so, like, once you start hitting the side rush targets, it starts to scatter the pattern. And so, like, you know, once if your right ramp was blue, it probably won't be anymore once you hit the rush targets, you know, just kind of flipping around throughout the playfield. So, I mean, it kind of feels like jackpot in that respect, where like you really want to get the ball under control to take like the shot that you want to take to start the game.
Are you ever full plunging, or are you always short plunging to try to get that skill shot? Or
I would never full plunge. Okay. I would rather lose my skill shot and try to shoot the side ramp just to get the ball in the flipper. Okay. I've definitely learned my lesson from the ball ever going in the pops in this game.
All right. So take us now through when you guys are stepping up and what you're looking for as a path to getting a high score. We'll talk about certain scenarios. Perhaps you're coming back on ball 3, but let's take us through each of your approach as far as strategy into Stern Rush.
So, Hadi, just to clarify, do you want to do like openers then? Like for like ball 1, like what are we looking at, right? Like,
that's a good idea. So ball 1, what are you guys stepping up and thinking about doing? What are your strategies for this pin?
Yeah, so one thing I'll say about the records is when you shoot a record, it moves all the other records as well. So you see like the 6 that you've circled before. Mm-hmm. If you circle those again, they move in a clockwise fashion. So when you shoot like a record, that record will stay, but every other record will actually shift a clockwise position over. And so theoretically, like you could shoot 6 consecutive shots in a row that are all the same record color. So I want to like Greg said, like you're prioritizing certain modes, and I always kind of want to put modes on, or the modes I'm going for on the important shots. So if I see a blue record, for instance, Spirit of the Radio on the dead end, which is the cash out for Spirit of the Radio, like I'm trying to lock that in as soon as I can. And if you miss it, like you're now 5 records away from that coming back to being on that shot again. And you have to either shoot the rush targets or something else to get it back on. The reason it's so important is because any record that you start the mode that was part of the qualifying part of kind of getting that on the playfield becomes a 2x shot. And if you give all the records the same color, uh, which is kind of a rare scenario, but it's a 3x multiplier on every one of those shots. So that becomes extremely important in kind of getting that set up initially. Obviously, like with harder machine setups and stuff, like if I can just get it on a couple shots, like I might just note like, hey, I have limelight on the inner orbit and the right ramp. And it's like, okay, like when I'm shooting this, if I start like a stack or something like that, like I'm going to try to hit those shots as often as I can in that process. So that becomes a lot of what we initially look for, I guess. But in terms of just like a break off strategy, like you want to, unless they set the time machine up to be more than 4 hits, I'm trying to combine my first mode, which I'm trying to play, like Limelight, like Greg said, or even Spirit of the Radio or something. And I'm just trying to combine that with a time machine multi-ball in this case.
Yeah, that kind of was the transition I wanted to see. If you guys, obviously getting a ball 1 mode stack plus multi-ball is ideal. But I didn't know, is there any chance you're saving the first multi-ball for maybe your second mode if you think you can clear out one mode and get to the next record, or are you just trying to get that stack initially?
I don't think you're really dancing around your multi-balls here, because like I don't think it's similar to a game like Iron Maiden, for example, where it's like, okay, I really want hollowed with my trooper or mummy multi-ball.
Mhm.
Like you're not doing it for anything other than like value. And like at the end of the day, because there's no timer on any mode in the game, it really like kind of balances like, okay, I want to finish the good mode. Because like as long as you play that ball, you'll always be running that mode until you finish it. So I feel like that it's kind of I don't know, you don't try to like save your multi-balls for really any particular.
Yeah, and even if you start your multi-ball and like finish your mode really quickly and you're in your multi-ball, you can actually like hit record shots again to start qualifying your next mode anyway and start getting boosts on it. So every unique record you hit past the amount qualified is a 10% boost to your next mode. And so you can like get out of your first mode in your multi-ball, like and then like have a 30% boost or something on your next mode. Right. And so when you're in multi-balls in this game, like just multi-balls, you're not locked out at all. Like, first of all, the multi-balls are worth a decent amount of points. And like the fact that you can do qualification during the multi-ball, like is worth so much. So naked multi-balls in this game is like, yeah, you're not trying to do them, but if they happen, it's not the worst thing in the world. And especially if you just complete a mode really quickly and you're in a multi-ball, like there's still a ton of value to be had from continuing to play on this.
And where's your add a ball on your time machine multi-ball? The scoop right here?
Yeah, it's the
Okay.
3 in lanes. You have to get those, and then it's just front scoop shot. It won't count on side scoop, and the game will get confused too. If you have a ball in from the side scoop and you shoot one in the front scoop, like if you have any in there, like you can't get an add a ball right away. But yeah, it's your first mystery award, hitting the front scoop.
And for modes, let's say ball 1, you've started Limelight and you've gotten like 30% of the way through, but you drain. So for ball 2, is it still active for you, or do you have to reactivate the record shot, then hit the time machine to start it again? Or is it ready for you on plunge on ball 2?
I'd say it's very similar to something like Foo Fighters, where like you still have to requalify, or I guess it's not like Foo Fighters. You have to requalify it, but you don't really come in with anything other than the progress you had from when you got out of the mode.
So, Greg, what are you doing when you start bowl one?
I think Preston said it really well. Like, I'm looking where my records are at, seeing if I can get like a green or a blue one, like he said as well, on, really one of the key shots that I feel like I shoot a lot, which I think are the right orbit or the right ramp, the spinner lane, the dead end, and just the upper flipper orbit. Just because like that's where my plunge is going, and that one is the most convenient. I'm definitely looking to bring whichever mode I start between the two of those into my time machine. And then after that, I can just kind of evaluate where I am in a lot of like my next mode qualification, or if I was still in my mode.
As far as the right ramp shot, is there a position on this left flipper? Is it near the end that you're finding it more consistently? I know every pin is set up differently. Is it more towards the tip? Because I know it is a tight shot for people to find. But you said you mentioned earlier that it's later than you think. Is it because I feel like if I find it on the tip, it's usually headed over here to the right orbit, or maybe one of the rush targets. What do you think?
I don't think it's quite on the tip. I definitely do think it's later than expected.
Okay.
I don't think it's one of those like real sweet spot ramps, just because like I honestly think the orbit to the left of it feels really good to shoot. So I kind of find that as the sweet spot. It's almost like my bailout on my left flipper. But I would kind of feel the shot from the insert right above it, like the leftmost side of that circle, and then down.
So like right there. Okay. What is the I remember it from Star Trek. What does the away team shot here do when you lift the upper flipper and hit it through
Not
there?
a whole lot.
Sometimes
Sometimes your extra ball moves there, and you can also in single ball it does a skill shot, and I think there's like a drum bonus or something maybe.
Yeah, there's a drum bonus, but it's
something that like we're not even considering, honestly.
Yeah. Nowhere as crucial as away team.
Yeah, going back to the modes. So if you don't finish, you mentioned there's no mode timers. If you don't finish a mode, you can go back into that mode, or like honestly, even if you finish it, can you go back?
It's more likely that you are going to go back into that mode because the records that you qualified for that mode actually stay on the playfield. Weirdly, so they become more of the predominant records that begin your next ball, and but yeah, you can go back in and play it. The value doesn't seem very good. Like I always want to start like a new mode, honestly, unless I, like completely like just drained immediately out of it or something like that. I guess like finishing a mode's good. You do get when you finish a mode, it does qualify a rainbow record. So your next shot will put a 2x on a shot for the rest of the game. So that's a good argument for going back into it. But obviously like the value's like not that great. Like if I'm, 4/5 of the way through Limelight and have just a couple more shots to finish it, I can go back in and like get that rainbow record. But not only do you need to like survive getting out of it, put a rainbow shot on something, and then you have to hit like 2 or 3 more record shots to qualify your next mode. So I'd rather go into a more lucrative mode before that, instead of like, there's only so much time you get on Rush when it's set up hard. So I want to maximize that time in terms of point efficiency. And I think going back into modes that you're almost done with can hurt that sometimes.
So I love the idea of a permanent multiplier on a shot when you've done something good. I really like the way the code on Foo Fighters does it, where if you, if you do it extraordinarily well, I think it's like you get a super jackpot on some multi-balls or whatever, and then it corresponds to like, okay, left ramp is boosted for the rest of the game, or just rest of the ball. Where are you putting your rainbow record multiplier? Because it reminds me of Batman 66 too. When you hit the Commissioner Gordon, you could put it on a shot. Generally, I put it on the Penguin Scoop because I feel like that I'm going to get a jackpot there and maybe it'll get multiplied. So where are you guys putting your rainbow record shot?
In order of importance for me, dead end, right ramp, inner loop.
How about you, Greg?
I would go in order of importance: inner loop, right ramp, dead end.
And what's the reason for that for you guys? Just those are the shots that you feel comfortable with?
I'll start.
Yeah, go ahead.
My inner loop is my most valuable shot in my game because I'm always trying to, and I'll talk about this later. I'm trying to find a way to set up a big La Villa. So, I mean, that's kind of what I base my whole strategy around. And so that is by far the most important shot in that mode. So I'm just overall setting that up. The right ramp, I feel like I want to get ready for a lot of my multi-balls because it'll be some of my larger value shots. And then my dead end, just because I think it always leaves the option open for a really big Spirit of the Radio. Just because multiplying that shot always cashes out really well with Spirit of the Radio.
All right. So ideally, you've set things up on ball 1 or ball 2. Kind of guide me through your ideal playthrough. Obviously, we're not talking about getting to Cygnus Book 1, Cygnus Book 2, or whatever it is. But if things are going your way, what is your path? Both of you can definitely tell us.
Yeah, I think we'll tell you in different ways because
Sure.
I think Greg will concentrate on like kind of mode maximizing. I'm my home run in this game, and like this is a game that at Worlds I picked against Zoller for a few different reasons, but the fact that I know that the certain home runs you can kind of hit in this game, and I really focus a lot of my effort when I'm trying to, when you have to play like someone really good at the game, like a Greg, like a Zoller, like anyone like that, right? ZMAC. You have to find ways that you can score very, very quickly. In this game, the combos are insane. So obviously the records around the playfield, like right below them are the 1, 2, 3 combos. And these are often ignored, but can be extremely valuable if you know exactly what they consist of. So there's a few combos that are just at my utmost importance in the game. So the moving pictures combo, and these combos relate to albums, and basically you get a button for whatever songs are on those albums. A lot of them have 1, but moving pictures, for instance, has 3. So the moving pictures combo is the right ramp, and that will light like your 2s on the right orbit in the spinner lane. The next shot would be spinner lane in this case. And then that spinner lane will light the inner loop and the side ramp. And the side ramp is where you want to go for that. That's your moving pictures combo. And so you get a button that's good for an Add-a-Ball and red Barchetta or a blue button. So the green button is Add-a-Ball. The blue button is a shot spotter. And it basically like does a wave across the playfield. The wave is... it always starts on whatever side the ramp is diverted to. So if it's diverting left, which, can you circle those like big red things by kind of on the outside? One's near the drops.
This
right to the left,
flashers.
right? Yeah. So the big red thing right there.
Right here?
That and then the one on the other side of it. Those blink, and those will indicate to you which side your ramp is diverting to.
Oh, okay.
So whatever side is blinking, that's where the shot sequence, like the blue button sequence, will start. So if it's on the left side, like the first shot that gets spotted is anything on the left orbit, and then it goes up to, oh shoot, I forget which way it goes. Is it the side scoop, side ramp, inner orbit, dead end, spinner, right ramp, right orbit? I think that's the sequence. I get confused on the side shot part of it, but it's an incredibly valuable. The blue button is like crazy. Like it can be absolutely massive. Like I've had ones like close to 1 billion points when I've like hit it through, right? And like so the moving pictures combo, like it qualifies for 2 different modes. So I'm like ignoring like what modes I'm qualifying because I'm just planning to either play a Limelight or play a Tom Sawyer eventually if that's not what I qualify initially. And then you have a few other ones I want to go over. So Snakes and Arrows is the dead end. left orbit, and these are sequenced. So you have to hit dead end first, left orbit after, inner loop. That's your Far Cry multi-ball. And then permanent waves is your spinner, inner orbit, and then side ramp. Yep.
This one.
Yeah.
That one.
So that's your free will and spirit of the radio. I'm always trying to use it for spirit of the radio in this case. And then hemispheres is kind of, Greg's kind of home run here is right ramp and then right orbit. And that's going to be your Levia combo. So you can only qualify these albums in single ball play. There is some like 1, 2, 3 jackpot stuff you can do in multi-ball with a certain perk thing. We're not going to worry about that. You can only get these in single ball play, and you have to cash them in at the time machine when you hit those combos. You can stack combos technically, but you want to cash those in as quickly as possible so you have those buttons in your back pocket moving forward into the game. You like it transfers ball to ball. Once you have the combo for the albums, those albums stay like on your record effectively for the entire game. So if you ever get into anything that they qualify for, you can use whatever power up they have associated with them. So for instance, the moving pictures one. So I want to get that one as quickly as possible. Let's say I have Time Machine lit. My moving pictures is available. I have Limelight lit, and I have a multi-ball ready at the time machine. The first thing I'm doing when I see that is I'm looking up in either the top right corner, I believe, one of the corners of the LCD, and I'm seeing what time machine multi-ball is going to be qualified for my Limelight mode. If it's Red Barchetta, that's the thing I don't want to start, because Red Barchetta and Limelight are the same button. And basically when you're in the multi-ball and the mode stack, Red Barchetta and Limelight, it prioritizes the add a ball rather than a sweeping shot. So instead, this is like way too much, but instead, like I'm going to hit dead end. Dead end changes your multi-ball you're going to play at the time machine. And I'm trying to get to either Fly By Night or Subdivisions, right? And so when I start the multi-ball, when I start the Moan multi-ball stack, like let's say it's Limelight and Subdivisions, what happens is you have a blue button available, your multi-ball starts. I try to get like a couple of the multi-ball shots out of the way. So what happens in Subdivision, the time machine's the first shot for your jackpot. It spreads from there, it divides, right? It goes dead end and right spinner. But what happens is, like, let's say I'm on the left, I can button through and it will spot a left orbit Limelight shot, a left scoop Limelight shot, a side ramp Limelight shot, an inner orbit Limelight shot, and then it spots a jackpot at the dead end plus a Limelight shot, a jackpot on the time machine because it relights jackpots there, a jackpot on the right spinner and a Limelight shot, a jackpot and a Limelight shot on the right ramp, and a jackpot and a Limelight shot on that shot. It's massive, right? And you're basically like more than halfway through your mode already just from using a button. You've already hit like a bunch of the jackpots that you need in order to light a super jackpot in that mode. And like from there, like you're just ripping shots, right? And you're very close to finishing that. Coming out of this, probably qualifying another mode because you're working, like, not only are you almost done with Limelight, you can finish that, like you can start working on your next mode from there, and you can like hit a super jackpot in Subdivisions. It becomes massive. Like, and that's the kind of thing, like you want to score so quickly in this game because ball time's pretty low in hard setups. And I think that like people ignore the combos that can be set up this way, and they can win you a game just from the fact that you get like basically 9 free shots or whatever it is, just from holding down a button.
So your button spots all of them. It's not like Bishop. Wow, that's amazing. I did not know
spots
that.
All of them. It's one-time button use, one time for the album. And like for instance, I said Moving Pictures has 3 songs on it. You can only use it for like one of the songs, which is why it's important to change your multi-ball if you're doing a multi-ball mode stack with like Limelight. Or even Top Sawyer.
And so you're changing your multi-ball at the dead end shot.
Yes.
Okay. That is
Yep.
a really, really great explanation analysis of a strategy that most people probably aren't aware of. I was not aware that the spot shot perk or button spotted a wave of them. I
Yeah.
thought it was just one.
Like another good example is Lavia, right? Like let's say I hit the right ramp once in Lavia and I have the button and I miss it the next time and you're on the combo, you're like, well, I don't want the combo to time out. If you start on the right diversion, it'll spot right ramp and then dead end and then left orbit. So you get your 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, like just from that free. So you kind of have a button in your back pocket that can like extend your combo in the mode. And it's, I mean, that's why they're just so valuable. They can be used in such a like great way that way. Like I mentioned the Spirit of the Radio one too. Like not only are you spotting a jackpot shot in it, but you're also like increasing the value with each of the ones it hits on the way through.
So your sweeping spot shotter, ideally you're using it for limelight if you're in a mode.
Yeah, so the moving pictures one, that's why I like the permanent waves one, which is your Spirit of the Radio. Like that's another really good one to have. So the ones I really like having are the Limelight and Tom Sawyer. The Tom Sawyer one can be good because it's a 3-phase, and then it's your 2 orbits, and then your 2 ramps, the side ramp and the main ramp, and then every shot's lit. So if you hit just 4 shots and then button through the last thing, you're done with the mode.
That's fantastic advice. Greg, how about you? Your role, your push.
I'm basically I'm going to narrow in on one mode, and which Preston's talked about this mode, but I am really going hard on Lavia. So I think my ball 2 really revolves around thinking if I have, the Lavia I want just prepped to win the game. So hopefully I finish the mode and I want my rainbow record either on the right ramp or the upper loop. And so both of those shots I would say are the 2 most important shots that I can put multipliers on in Lavia. So, and then as Preston said as well, I am trying to get the hemispheres combo for Lavia, which is just right ramp, right orbit. So I find that one extremely easy to do since it's only 2 shots and neither of them are fairly difficult. So then I am trying to stack my purple Lavia with my not fly by night. I can't think of what it's called. The multi-ball on the right ramp.
Far Cry.
The Far Cry multi-ball. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm trying to stack my Far Cry with my Lavia. I think the biggest thing about that is because they don't start at the same time. I'm not worried about when I start my Far Cry. I just want to have it. So it's purely like mode started is like the main priority. Like the multi-ball is just running in the background and making sure I do everything I want to do in the multi-ball or in the mode. And so Lavia, the way I play it, hopefully with a button, is first shot is right ramp, second shot is right ramp, and then it comes to the right flipper and you want to shoot the dead end. Usually you'll find pros in tournament, but if you're lucky enough to find a premium tournament, this will be different. This does not feed a flipper. So I find I am ready with my button on the left side for this part. So hopefully I get a trap and then I'll button through this part. Buttoning from left to right with my Lavia shot on the left orbit spots. I think Preston said it was 3 different shots. So we're spotting left orbit, the side ramp, or the side scoop, I believe, and then the spinner lane. So then I hope to shoot the spinner lane and combo the upper orbit, which I hopefully have my multiplier on or a purple record, so I can get as much value out of that as I can. And so the fun perk about this is after you shoot your first upper orbit, when that's your next like available shot, you can keep shooting the left or the upper orbit until you have 1 shot left in the mode. So it's basically spotting shots while keeping your combo. And then you can finish it on the scoop. And then hopefully I'm still in Far Cry and I can, mess around with that multi-ball for some points. But I mean, that's really my main strategy. I know I really like commit to that harder than, sometimes I feel like I should. But that's always why I try to play Limelight on ball 1 just to get a safe, 50 to 60 million. And so I can do something that because if this done correctly, this wins, 99% of games of Rush. But, if I don't get it done, I'm falling back to a 70 million score when I'm winning maybe 40% of games will rush.
I think you guys said it best. The playtime on this pin is very short for most tournaments just because of how they're usually set up. Whether they're on 2x4s, competition mode, ball savers off, you got to hit a skill shot to get something just to give yourself a little bit of breathing room. Then your time machine is 8 to 10 shots, whatever it is. Just out of curiosity, are you guys ever focusing on the instruments on the left? And is there anything special in here on this area of the playfield?
I don't want to speak for both of us, but I don't think either of us are. They just kind of happen. They're extremely dangerous. And they're not as necessary as like Walking Dead, for instance. It's the same kind of multi-ball rules for it, but if it's one of those things that if I happen to clear all three of the instruments, like in a multi-ball, if they're clear and like a couple are just kind of like waiting there, like I might take a pot shot at hitting behind the target to like activate my instruments. There's some benefits in the background that you kind of get from those. I believe like the spinner becomes more valuable with a certain one. Your 1, 2, 3s become more valuable with a certain one, and
your pop bumpers build
pop
time.
bumpers, yeah, which is honestly pretty nice because your pops are advancing toward a multi-ball as well. That's Headlong. Another thing you don't see in tournaments that often, but that multi-ball is insane if you can get to it, or can be insane. But we might take pot shots, but in single ball play, like I think shooting those are kind of a trap. If you do happen to like light your free will multi-ball and it's available to take, if you want to combine that with a mode, like that's great. And you're probably already playing a great game if like those are ready to go. It's just not a shot that's it's pretty ugly to shoot at. It's late on the flipper. It gets into problem areas of the play field that you don't really want to be in typically. So it's not something that I'm extremely focused on. If you're trying to like set a GC at your home game that you can kind of move around, like, yeah, they're great, but in comp, it's not happening that often.
It's a more general question. For any pins you've owned in your home, it doesn't have to particularly apply to Rush, but it could. Home versus competitive play. What is the biggest adjustment you have to make? Like I've been spending probably the last 2 weeks playing Avengers, just constantly trying to get to Battle Thanos, and it's a blast, but it's an ass kicker. But when I see it in tournaments, I'm not taking the same path. I'm not going for portal lock. I'm literally just trying to prep Thor and maybe get to a gem and hopefully, pray from there, get something going, get to reality, get to power. Is there a big adjustment that you constantly see from home to competitive play that you're making?
I think actually this game is really unique in that regard. Is whereas like your first 1/3 to 1/4 of the game are going to look very similar. Where like, you have to get through those modes and, most likely you're starting your time machine multi-ball first. And then, after that, it's really like, okay, do I feel like I want to keep, taking the safe shots and, making it through these modes that I can? Or, maybe do I want to risk it more for something like you said, like those drop targets? Because like free will is, I think, a really fun multi-ball to play for its rule set, being something similar to Love Gun and Kiss. There, where all the shots are lit, and then once you hit one shot, you have to hit that shot again. But I think like getting to the wizard modes, I feel like is more natural for book 2, which I believe is the book for modes in a tournament aspect. But reaching book 1 is much more unlikely. You have to play all multi-balls for book 1. And I don't find myself traditionally shooting the time machine enough for what I see to be like a third time machine multi-ball in tournament play. But I think that's what this game does really well in a home perspective is like he said earlier, and part of the reason he learned to love it is like it opens up so much. And like I think, credit to the coders, like I know Ray had a lot of influence on this, is like the wizard modes are fantastic. And they're really unique and just a lot of fun to play. So I think that's something that really made me want to own it at home.
Yeah, the thing I would say is the biggest difference, and like this isn't an issue with Greg's game. Like Greg sets up his games really hard. For me, it's like flipper rubber adjustments, adjusting to like whatever flipper rubbers tournaments are using. I know Yegpin, for instance, used like these yellow rubbers that were insane. Like they just bounced everywhere, and you had to like I was just sending stuff away a lot of the time. In terms of this game, there's a lot of tourney setup dependent things. the first thing to look out for is the inner orbit. A lot of rushes had a kind of a defect where it shoots through the switch of the inner orbit, which can really affect a strategy like Greg's, for instance, and he will adjust away from it if the inner orbit is completely unreliable. I mean, there's a lot of things in this game, but like shooting the left orbit, for instance, like I won't do on certain competitive setups as much because when you shoot the left orbit and you hold the right flipper up, because of the steepness of the game, it'll go above the side scoop instead of in it. And so that becomes a more dangerous shot because you're creating kind of horizontal action. You kind of like flip away or something like that, but it's a pretty like unreliable shot to take. And because of the double in lanes on the right side, you also can't just let it go past the right flipper, kind of like Maiden. So that's an adjustment that I sometimes have with that. The other thing is like the scoop feed coming directly at you. That can be quite a bit different on each copy. And it's something to kind of watch out for because you don't get like grace period ball saves from that either.
What about you, Joe? I know you've got a Maiden at home. Is there something you do differently or approach tournament copies of Maiden, or maybe you just see something, at your local versus one you see at bigger tournaments, like any pin?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, right? Like it's my favorite pin of all time, and like I'm very comfortable with the one at home. But like, for example, I saw one today on location, and I like hate the way that it plays. So it's like I know what to do, and it's just like making those adjustments to that specific copy is always, it's the eternal struggle when like you have a pin at home and then you have to see it in the wild. Like it's just completely different. So I mean, adjusting to that is like it's the whole thing of playing competitively, right? Just,
Exactly.
making those adjustments.
Yeah. Let's talk ball 3 strats, back strats, because this is a good way to transition into the final part of this episode in MasterClass, Wizards and Warriors, our first one. I think it's going great. So I really appreciate you guys explaining and helping out. So ball 3 down by, let's say, 80 million to ZMAC to Eric Stone, let's say, anybody. What is your ball 3 strat, assuming you have played one-time machine multi-ball and you haven't finished a mode? What is your comeback strat on Rush? And I'd like to hear from both of you. And Preston, let's go with you first.
If I'm down by that much and that's my progress, I'm assuming this is a pretty hard rush.
Yep.
So I'm going to short plunge. I'm going to either try to shoot the side ramp or the side scoop in order to start a ball save, because you don't get a ball save and your Playfield's automatically qualified without hitting a switch technically when you plunge. So I want to do that first. From there, I'm prioritizing build or like I'll look at my dead end, and if I see Spirit of the Radio, I'm shooting that. But I'm probably just finding a Spirit of the Radio shot, to be honest. I'm also hoping Far Cry is like pretty close here. But I want to start Spirit of the Radio because it's like the kind of like the middle. It's like a triple in this game. Like Lavia is like the home run, 100%, and Spirit's definitely like a triple. And you can build Spirit really, really high in this game. So you have 5 cash outs on the dead end that you get. And those cash outs are capped technically at 50 million points. If you have a rainbow record or a blue record on the dead end, they're capped at 100 points per cash out. And then if you have all blue records or rainbow records, they're capped at 150 per cash. So it's capped at like 750 million of cash outs, which could be like, I mean, that's insane, like an insane score for Rush, especially in comp. But I want to start Spirit and I want to stack in a multi-ball. And from there, what I'm going to do in that multi-ball is shoot the build Spirit shots. I'm going to avoid the dead end. Like, let's say I'm in Far Cry. I'm going to avoid the dead end as much as I can. I'll try to shoot the spinner first because in Spirit, spinner builds the build value of each shot. And then I'm going to try to shoot, like, every shot is lit to build outside of the dead end. So right ramp, right orbit, left inner loop, left scoop, left side or side ramp, and left orbit. Those are all build shots in Spirit. And the more you hit, the more cash outs you have available on the dead end. And especially if this is a premium, all I'm doing in the multi-ball is shooting build shots on a pro where you don't get the feed coming back from kind of a buck or whatever. I might just take some pot shots and cash out as I'm going a little bit more. Theoretically, all I have to do is get to, like, let's say I have a blue record on the thing. All I have to do is get to 7 million cash outs because of the blue record, multiplying those to 14. And I can hit 14 million 5 straight times. And I'm done.
Nice. Yeah, that's a very solid strat. I was trying to do the math and the shots in my head. I love it. How about you, Greg?
Spirit's an awesome mode. Like it's honestly a perfect mode with a multi-ball because you can build and then you can just cash out at the end.
Yeah.
Personally, like that is something that I think I could definitely get along with as well.
Yeah.
But I'm looking really hard into Far Cry multi-ball, and I think just the raw ability of that multi-ball even by itself is really good. I think it's, especially in like the early phases of the game, some of the best points you can get. And I'll stack a mode in. I'm not too particular with one or which one at that point, just because like I don't want to be wasting shots on ball 3 that maybe might greed a little bit. I'd rather try to do it take a little bit longer. So I think really narrowing in on that multi-ball. Preston discussed the button earlier. I don't really think that's something I'm looking at too crucially here on a ball 3. Just because that kind of views on like piling on top. But Rush, the way Far Cry multi-ball works, it is you'll have 5 shots that could be lit. They could be red, yellow, orange, blue.
Green.
I want to say
and green. Yeah. No,
Yep.
green and blue. Yep.
So hottest to like darkest, 5x is red, 4x is orange, 3x is yellow, 2x is green, and 1x is blue. So those red shots, like if you really put a priority on them, I think can add up really big to catch a 80 million deficit with some random road running in the background.
Yeah, and outside of the Lavia combo, that's the only thing that's timed in the game is those jackpots will actually like time out on you, so you want to shoot them quickly.
Yes,
and they relight jackpots when you hit jackpots. They relight 2,
nice.
I think.
Pro versus premium. Is the premium safer? Do you get feeds back more safely?
Yes. So the pro versus premium, obviously the main difference is, as Preston mentioned, the buck on the dead end shot coming to that lane, which ends up mattering a lot, not only for safety, but that's a shootable shot that you can get a return to get your ball safe. Otherwise, on the pro, like you just kind of have to hope. It's like almost Flight 2000, where it's like nothing's really feeding these in lanes, so you have to hope and get lucky that you get that one for addable. But normally on premiums, I also find the flippers to be stronger, just because you see a lot of pros on locations. They've been played a lot more. So honestly, I find that the shots are just a little bit different. Just because I do find more power in the flipper on premium traditionally.
The only way the premium's a little bit more dangerous is if your side scoop isn't lit for anything and you get it in the side scoop, it'll shoot it back out the side. So it'll go horizontal, which is a little bit annoying.
I've noticed that. It goes like sometimes to the rush targets. I'm like, oh crap, it's coming.
Yep.
It's gonna be
and that's a dangerous area. That like little kick off the rush targets that like guides down. It creates bad spin on the ball. So you'll see a lot of right out lanes coming from that area. So you want to like shimmy a lot on the right side.
Is there any major difference in your approach on pro versus premium strategies, or is it kind of the same, but you've just got like a couple safer feeds or safer returns? Except for this stupid side scoop.
I would say the main thing that changed is like how much, like I think Preston put it perfectly earlier, is like how much on a premium I value the blue
Spirit of the Radio.
Spirit of the Radio. Just because like that return back is so much times better, and like when you do have a good value on it, you can just repeat it and combo it for all 5 shots, which makes it a lot safer. But at least for me, I don't really find much different with the premium to pro.
Yeah, the other big thing is it does feed that inner in lane, and there's no way to feed that on the pro, and you need that for add balls. I find that like really tough setup rushes, you don't get a lot of inner in lanes on them for some reason. And so getting out of balls in like Time Machine Multiball can be extremely difficult on the pro if it's set up hard for some reason. So if you have like, it's almost better if you start a Time Machine Multiball with your like mystery already lit for the pro if it's set up really hard. It's not something to prioritize, just something to kind of pay attention to in the back of your mind. So,
is this a shimmyable pin on the out lanes? Can you shimmy that back into the
not when they open them.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of, yeah.
I would say this game is very different from when I think like just literally taking the rubber off the out lane changes everything. Because I think with no rubber, like this game, like turns from, like you said, I think it's very like, you know, shimmyable. I don't feel like it's just gone. When it's gone, it's gone. So
you got bored.
On the premium versus pro, the other thing I feel like that's a little different is the ramp, right? The Time Machine ramp. Yeah. Is there anything specific to like note when the ramp is down? Like I'm assuming like when you have a mode qualified, it'll riz, but like I feel like sometimes during modes like it'll go down. I just don't really know why, or like why it's what kind of prompts it to go back up. I don't know if you guys know that or have much time on premiums.
You have to have something qualified at the Time Machine. So you have to have a combo qualified for it to raise. You have to have your multi-ball lit, or you have to have a mode ready to go, or maybe a mode shot. Like if the end of Limelight, I assume it goes back up.
Yeah, and like when you're shot for big money, like all of your shots are lit to be in that phase. Anytime a mode shot is lit on the Time Machine, it will be up.
Yeah, cool. That's Are you what flipper are you shooting the Time Machine from generally, right?
I'm never taking a shot from the left on a premium.
I shoot left. Oh, on the premium? Okay, the one at my house is much easier forehand, and I know where the forehand shot is. I noticed in comp, I definitely like backhand a little bit more, but I'm kind of an equal opportunist on it. Like I'm not afraid to shoot the pro Time Machine from the left. If I find it kind of like rattling, then I'll prioritize the right, I guess. So
yeah, I saw ZMAC. He did this at the UK Open last year, and I'm glad I learned it. He would, send the ball up the left in lane, and then it would sort of ski pass and bump over to the right in lane because that left shot to the Time Machine was just too unfair, or just too hard. So that was something I was interested in figuring out. Why do people avoid the left? And it's just, I think the angle of it, geometry wise, is just not as consistent as the right flipper.
Yeah. And we can talk about kind of the lower playfield and how to like use stuff down there. Because I think it's important on this game. I think people get, I don't want to say lost on this game with that, but I think there's a lot of things you can do to make the game safer at the lower part of the playfield. So on the right side, like almost any ball coming through those end lanes, honestly, like it's probably best to try to post stop the ball on the right side. You get a lot of post stops to just stay there because it's not a natural post pass on that one. The left side is a natural post pass. So like if I just have a trap ball on the left side and post pass, it should go to the right. On the right, if you notice, when you do a post pass, it typically like guides back up the right in lane and then you ski pass back over. And you kind of have to like instead do a rolling one. If you want to do a post pass that you like get like partially on the flipper or something like that. But like post catching on this game is immensely important, and it's not as much of a flow game like it can be in multi-ball and stuff, but it can be really clunky, as like you kind of alluded to earlier in the episode where you said the shots are a lot tighter. That's definitely the case, and shots from a trap are always going to be easier. So post catching in this game is like immensely important.
So explain to people what post catching is.
Yeah, so when the ball is going down an in lane and it's going toward the flipper, you want to basically flip right as it's getting to like the kind of the end or the kind of the beginning of the flipper and like the bash it into the top or into the bottom of the sling. In that way, the ball just kind of stops there, and you can get a free trap from it.
Yeah, very, very precise timing, but man, it is such a good skill to learn.
Yeah.
Because most people can eventually get to post passes and understand how it works there, unless you're on an Elwyn sometimes, and ski pass and bumping over. But what else about the lower playfield would you like to talk about?
The other thing I'd mention in multi-balls, if you have two balls in the same flipper, you want to do your transfers. I think really low, honestly, because I don't think the ball transfers off of like high transfers well at all. And so, like on the left, probably the most ideal one is to go really low and then post pass over. So like really low up, post pass over, because typically the slings are so tight on rushes. I don't know why, but it's been my experience with like all the competition ones where like if it like kind of hangs on the sling, it'll just fire. And so I try to go like really low on the slings, like at the very base of them, basically to have anything transfer. Especially because the right one like kind of hangs over the flipper a little bit, and so you can get in a lot of trouble on that one if you like have it high up on the sling. And there's just some like odd transfers in this game that people will drop out of multi-ball, like just trying to transfer the ball. So I think keeping it low is always like ideal for doing any of that sort, and especially like over-unders can be really effective on the left-hand side.
Thanks, Preston. That was a really good explanation of some of the flipper skills and flipper tricks you can do on Rush. Is there anything that we might be missing related to Rush as far as maybe modes or any other sort of progress like Headlong that you guys want to talk about?
I'll start by digging in on Headlong Flight. Headlong Flight is qualified by your pop bumpers, which is advancing the big clock you see right over the left orbit. So you will slowly work your way to midnight on that clock based on the amount of pop hits you have. And you will know you have advanced an hour when your right orbit lights up yellow. And then you will get, the amount of millions on based on what time it is. Like if it's 8 o'clock, you'd get 8 million. Once you qualify midnight or noon, I don't know, your right orbit will again light, but instead of being yellow, there's a little insert that just says Multiball. So that is Headlong Flight. Headlong Flight is actually the only multi-ball that you can stack with other multi-balls, but you have to start the other multi-ball first.
Okay. So
it is very stackable. Obviously, like you can bring a mode in as well. The mode works like you start with your right ramp and your side ramp lit, all yellow. So if you hit the right ramp, I think it's your upper orbit. Is that right, Preston?
Yeah, it's upper orbit, side ramp, and right ramp.
Yeah. So the dream combo in this game is your upper orbit to your side ramp to your main ramp. So I believe the way the scoring works is the shots are going down in value based on how long has passed. And so I believe it's 10 seconds or 5 seconds per million. So if it's been 5 seconds, it would be 11 million on the first shot. And then if you combo them, it's multiplying them. So the more you hit in like sequence, the more they'll be. So this multi-ball can be really big because you can work your shots up to around 72 million a shot if you combo your orbit, your side ramp, and then your right ramp would be 72 million because it'd be 12 million times 3 because it's your third shot you fit in a row for 36. And if you have a record on it, it would be times 2 for 72 million. So that is, it's very late game, but I mean, it's even a reason to multiply or put like a rainbow record on your right orbit. Multiplying, 9 or, 11 by 2 is pretty decent points in a rush that plays pretty hard.
Does it matter where your last shot on that Headlong is the right ramp? Does your rainbow record go on the right ramp or the right orbit? Because the right orbit is what starts the multi-ball?
I like the right ramp just because that's your final shot.
Gotcha.
But I usually have it on the orbit anyway, just because of La Via. So I remember like when we talked about like, what my priority shots are, my right ramp and my upper orbit were my 2 most important shots. And I think this is another reason, that kind of combines.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I want to reiterate like how great, like when Greg says like putting it on the inner orbit, he's completely right, because it is like for the Levia combo. The Levia combo is so insane that if you're in the inner orbit part, it's still within the same combo. Shot value times 7 times 2, and then times 8 times 2 times 9 times 2 times 10 times 2 times 11 times 2. So you're the last shot or the 11th shot of that combo is 22x the shot value, and the shot value is increasing as it's going on. It gets like, that's the home run in this game is completely that. And even if you don't combo all the way through it, it's still worth a ton of points. So he's completely right on like the inner orbit being like kind of the, like it's just so overpowered in Levia that it's, if you need like a maximum score on the game, like that's the way to do it.
Isn't there an achievement for the 12-shot combo?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's really not that bad. Like if you own one, like it's like if all the feeds are fine and everything and your side loop registers, you're good to go. Like you'll find it for sure.
I think I remember Dalton had a journey to get it on stream. He was like going for the last achievement. Well, this was awesome. Is there anything left strategically you'd like to talk about in Rush, or how you approach it in a competition for anybody watching? We've been given some great details and approaches, so I really appreciate it. But if either of you have anything left regarding this Stern masterpiece, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Yeah, I mean, we did talk about big money, but that's one where like you're kind of progressing and then like you cash out on the time machine, so you can like build the time machine or like advance your time machine toward your first multi-ball, like kind of using big money. I've seen that a lot on really hard rushes. The other thing I'll say is I know we were kind of in the weeds for a lot of this episode of like kind of a more advanced, I would say, strategies. If you are looking at like a very basic just kind of overview, I know we did one briefly at the beginning, but Ray has a video. I think it's called like Baby's First Rush or something like that. Yep. Like reference that. It's really good. It'll kind of teach you what to look for. And then come back to this for like more of the advanced stuff. And both Gregory and I were kind of on like some of the social media stuff or Discord and stuff like that. Like if you have any specific questions, like feel free to reach out to me. I'm always willing to like answer pinball stuff. There's a lot of other really good people at this game as well that can be a resource. It's one of those things, like if we're at a tournament, even like we're always willing to like talk about strategies on games, and especially this one, like we're both pretty passionate about the game and think the game's developed really, really well by the team. So
anything, Greg?
Just to reiterate his point, like, I mean, the biggest part, about pinball is, the community with it. And, 9 out of 10 people are, even if they're playing against you in a game, are more than likely or more than happy to, maybe share some strategy. So I think that's always a great resource to have. And, I know if I'm ever at an event or someone wants to message me, I'm all for it. So
that's awesome. Joe, do you have any questions for them? Final questions, thoughts?
Yeah, no, thank you guys so much for coming on. I've learned, I feel like, a lot about Rush. I really want to play one now and test it out and see if I can blow it up. But no, this has been great. Thank you so much.
I'm kind of pissed I don't have one here because I really want to try those combos. I really want to try that spottable sweep.
Yeah, we've experimented a lot with stuff.
I hate hearing that and not having the ability to play one right now. This has been Wizards and Warriors Masterclass Rush. Preston, do you have anything you want to plug? Anything you want to promote or say before we say goodbye?
Yeah, I mean, promote your local scene. I think everybody's like, try to grow your local scene if you're a player and like participate in it. I know specifically in Indianapolis, we have the Tappers ICS League has done a really good job of that. Our Bells and Chimes Indianapolis chapter has been really good. And then one venue I think is really good in Indianapolis is Pinball as well. So I'd like to shout out all of them.
How about you, Greg?
I'd like to just start by saying thanks to both of you for really welcoming me on the show. I think that was really fun and something I was looking forward to doing. But I think Preston said it great. It's just like there can't be enough local pinball. One more person at an event, takes, I think a great example is, the 8th person takes finals from 2 to 4. And, how much more fun is that for, honestly, everyone, more people get to qualify. There's more finals, so, I mean, really just being out there and, making those relationships with, people around you who also play pinball is That's what it's all about.
Joe, you got anything?
I'm good, man. Yeah, play more pinball, guys. This is that's good stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming on. If you are a competitive player, you don't have to be top ranked. All we care about is that you're active, and you have a passion for any pin, whether it's Simpsons Pinball Party, Paragon, whatever it is. Just reach out. I'd love to have you on. Thank you both so much for coming on to talk about this. I feel like this was an amazing evolution of the Wizards and Warriors podcast, and your knowledge is deeply appreciated. So thank you guys. We will be back with either another regular episode of Wizards and Warriors to round out the year-end results for all the tourneys. We've got Cincinnati and the Winter Bash at Atomic Pinball in Illinois, and then if not, we might have another episode of MasterClass coming up. Hope you enjoy that, but that's it. Peace, love, and pinball, guys. See y'all later. Bye.
Bye.
The lights are flashing, the bells are ringing. I step up to the table, my heart is singing. The crowd is watching, the tension is high. I'm ready to play, it's time to defy it. Pinball warriors, we're ready to fight. Multiball madness, it's target line. Uppers and flippers, we're in control. Pinball wizards, we got the soul. Ball rolling, chasing the light. People fingers dancing, the arcades alive. But flippers respond to my every command. In the pinball kingdom, I make my stand. Pinball warriors, we're ready to fight. Multiball madness, it's target line. Uppers and flippers, we're in control. Pinball wizards, we got the soul.